Good evening, family. This post is going to be about Israelis, so-called fake Jews. They do not honor the Ten Commandments. What they honor is their code of silence, similar to what the Vatican does. When it comes to child molesters and things of this nature, when they tell the church just transfers the pedophile somewhere else, and he continues his actions. Well, the same thing is done in the Israeli version of Judaism. And let me say this, and let's make this clear. Judaism was not a religion. It was 12 tribes of Jews. But what Ukrainians want to do, or Khazars, I think they were called, they wanted to adopt the Jewish faith. But the only way they could do it was to turn Judaism into a religion, which it never was. But you turn it into a religion and then you can penetrate it. But let me get to the point. There was a young man, this came out about 5 months ago, and it's called The Jewish Scandal, Ultra-Orthodox Family Breaks Code of Silence. And it's the same thing with the Vatican, Christianity. When you go to the Vatican, nuns have to take a code of silence. If they are raped or molested, they're supposed to keep it in house. They're not supposed to tell. Israeli Jews have the same code of silence. And this young man was being raped at the age of 14 years old. Finally, he broke down in his adult years and confessed this to his parents. His parents went to the rabbi, and the rabbi transferred the offender to another synagogue. And what did he do? Same thing he did there. The same exact thing. Understand one thing. What these people are doing, they're not following the Ten Commandments. Their God is the organization. It is not God. Because Moses set forth the Ten Commandments. And Jews are supposed to follow the Ten Commandments, God's law, before they follow anything else. In Matthew, Jesus repeats the Ten Commandments. And what does the Vatican do? They doesn't follow that. They follow their code. They follow their codes. You see, these are man-made. These are man-made. And Christianity is man-made. Face it, Christianity is man-made. The Judaism they practice in Israel, it's man-made. Totally man-made. I'm going to read to you Matthew 12, verse 25. And Jesus knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Now, what does this mean? What this means is that all these so-called religions that say they believe in God and are opposed to each other shall not stand. You see what I'm saying? God is God. If these religions believed in God, they would believe in the same thing. There would be no dispute. But we have religious wars. Why? Because we have religious wars and they all proclaim to pray to one God. And there is but one God. So why don't they look for ways in which they can come together? But they're divided because they are of the heart and not of the mind. Now, what do I mean by that? Matthew 15, verses 18 and 19. And it reads, But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, theft, false witness, and blasphemy. Now, what does that mean? I have been explaining to people on my site, all is mind. The universe is a mental construct. We are supposed to use our minds. When you use your heart, you can fall prey to desires. We are thinking things. We are supposed to think and use our minds. But too many times we use our heart. I was talking to a friend and we were having the conversation. This guy yells when he talks. And I said, man, why don't you just tone it down a little bit? And the guy says, I'm passionate. And you know what I mean? Because he was thinking with his heart. He was passionate. When you think with your mind, your thoughts are slower and more methodical. Slower and more methodical. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is to show you the falsity of religions. Religions are man-made. They play on your heart. They play on your heart. But if you use your mind is that sixth eye that people are talking about. See with your mind, and you can see your way out of this trap. You can see your way out of this trap. Because I want to say this. These religions, so-called, these religions with their vow of secrecy, they don't want you to be faithful to God. They want you to be faithful to them. They want you to be faithful to them. If you violate the 10 Commandments, they want you to keep it in-house. Keep it hush-hush. Don't upset the apple cart. That's what they're about. Don't upset the apple cart. It's just like, and the United States is also satanic. And I'm gonna call Christianity satanic, and I'm gonna call these false Jews satanic also. Because if you're going to protect a pedophile, what are you? The United States. I'm gonna have to call the United States satanic. Why? Because they got this whistleblower law. In other words, it's basically, you can call the United States a Christian nation because they're following that same program. All this whoop-de-doo, you say a pledge of allegiance to the flag, you sing the national anthem and all this stuff, and what do? The minute somebody tells on them, somebody in government who's doing something wrong, they call him a whistleblower, and he's liable to go to jail, and the person who he told on is probably going to get a lesser sentence. That is insane. What I want to do in this post is to expose religions. Expose them for what they are. You can't, they have violated the 10 Commandments. The sixth one in particular. The seventh one in particular. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And if you want to get away with committing adultery, well, it's simple. If you join the Vatican and become a priest, you rape somebody, it's a vow of secrecy. And these people are so psyched out because they think with their heart instead of their mind. They're so psyched out, they go for it. They end up protecting the institution and not living up to God's words. And that's why God said the people in Israel were the synagogue of Satan. Because if you protect a pedophile, what else are you? In fact, I'm gonna leave the link to the video I'm talking about. The young man's name is Manny Waits. And if you want to find it, go to Endeavor, Endevr. and scroll down, and you will see the story. And what's really horrible about the story is that they treated the family for telling the authorities and getting this man convicted and put in jail so he can't do this over and over again. They excommunicated the family. They excommunicated the family. So, and this after he told the rabbi, and the rabbi did nothing. And when the young man asked the rabbi, would this stop him from being a pedophile? The rabbi said probably not. So in other words, the rabbi he was protecting, instead of following God's words, he was protecting the institution. I mean, go to it. Go to the channel that I've gave you. I'm going to leave it in the description. And find out, I mean, this is just blasphemous. There's no way. And you know what? What really amazed me about this was all the rituals they were going to do. They lighting candles and doing this and doing that. Just like the Vatican be running around swinging the smoke and all this and all that. But they're not following the 10 Commandments. They are not following the 10 Commandments. But I'm going to tell you something about the 10 Commandments. The first thing you have to do to evolve spiritually, you must first follow the 10 Commandments. Once you are able to follow the 10 Commandments, then you graduate to higher levels of spirituality, where there are other things that you will have to do to ascend spiritually. Because you see, religions are man-made. The 12 tribes, they were spiritual people. We are spiritual people. We are supposed to be spiritual, not religious, spiritual. Spirituality. We're supposed to ascend spiritually. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be in there paying tithes and this, that, and the other. Follow the 10 Commandments first. Once you can follow the 10 Commandments, then listen to your intuition. Listen to the Spirit of God that is within you. God is not in your heart. That keeps your body. That keeps your body going. That's the pump blood. God is not in your brain. Your brain is to regulate your organs in your body. But the Spirit is in the mind. All is mind. We live in the mind of God. Our actions should come from our minds and not our hearts. Our hearts is just cause desires. Think, people, think. But the reason why people get into trouble and do the things they do, because they think with their heart. We get jealous of people. We get mad. We get upset. But if you think about it, it isn't worth getting mad or upset. So with that, I'm going to leave you alone. And I'm going to leave I'm going to give you a break, not leave you alone. And I'm going to give you, I'm going to leave the link to this story. But I want you to understand this. Understand this. It ain't so much about Kyrie. They were attacking anyone who attacks the lie. They are attacking anyone who attacks the lie, and in doing what they did, Ten Commandments. Ninth, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. They bore false witness against Kyrie. He never said anything about anti-Semitism. All he did was post the movie. He posted the ad for the movie. That's all he did. He didn't mention anti-Semitism or nothing like that. But Shaq did. But Shaq played the movie in his theaters. Amazon sold the movie. I mean, think, people. Think. 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 It doesn't hurt. I don't know why people are scared to think, but I will tell you this. You don't need to go read the Bible. It's the Word of God. And use your mind to interpret it. But I'm going to leave you one other thing that you have to understand. is that you have to understand parables from direct thought. Now I'm gonna go to Matthew 13, verse 35. Matthew 13, verse 35. That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will open my mouth in parable. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. Now, what did Jesus mean by this? He meant if something does not sound logical, then it is a parable. It is a parable. And you have to use your intellect to decipher it. Did Jesus walk on water? No. Water symbolizes spirit. Jesus walking on water meant Jesus walked in spirit. See, you have to think. You have to recognize parables from things that are not parables. And it's not think with your mind. All I'm going to say is think with your mind. If it doesn't, and if you can't, if it's a parable, you can't understand it, then go ahead on to the next. Then read on and read on, and it should click. Read on and on and on. It should click. Just like I'm talking about the spirituality of mathematics. 1 and 1 equals 2. 2 and 2 equals 4. Truth adds up. Truth adds up. Truth adds up. So if it's something you don't understand, read past it. And I'm going to tell you something. Ask yourself a question. Ask yourself about it. When you go to sleep at night, ask yourself about it, pray on it, think about it. And guess what? God's going to answer your prayers. If there's something you need to know, God will make a way for you to know it. And with that, I'm going to leave a link to below.